Guru Busters!
Welcome back to Fake Trader Fails. I've been aware of the channel we are destroying today for years. Linemaker Sports, hosted by a clown named Frank. If you ordered a Vegas sharp costume from wish.com, this is what would arrive in the mail. For a long time, I didn't bother with him. I watched some of the videos, I laughed at the incompetence, and I moved on. Why? Because usually he's just peddling your standard run-of-the-mill American sports betting garbage. Picks, parlays, straight bets on the NFL or NBA. It was low IQ, coin-flipping nonsense, sure, but it wasn't interesting. It was just bad gambling advice, and the internet is drowning in that. But recently, Frank made a fatal mistake. He got ambitious. He decided to step out of the kiddie pool of guessing winners and try to present a trading strategy. He released a video claiming to have a system based on live hedging. He started using words like guaranteed profit and locking in wins. And the moment he tried to frame his incompetence as a sophisticated trading system, he walked right into our crosshairs. He's no longer just a bad gambler. He's now a fake trader. And that means he fits perfectly into this series. Now I have to give credit where it's due. I actually got the itch to destroy this guy after coming across a video from a channel called Circles Of. The host, Rob, did a reaction to one of Frank's NFL strategies. And honestly, it was surgical. He spotted the exact same red flags we call out here all the time. The sample size fallacy, the misuse of noisy, backward-looking statistics to predict the future, and the complete delusion of calculating a mathematical edge based on data that has zero predictive power. It was refreshing to see someone else actually doing the work. I haven't dug deep into the rest of the Circles Of channel, so I can't vouch for their entire operation, but that specific video, it is solid. It is high-level debunking. I have linked it in the description. Go give it a watch after this. But now, it's my turn. And as you know, we don't hold back on this channel. Frank thinks he's found a never-fail system for the NBA. We are going to use that reaction format. We are going to play the tape, we are going to pause it every time he lies, and we are going to eviscerate him. We aren't just going to debunk him, we are going to burn the very logic he stands on to the ground. No mercy. Let's go to the tape.
You can make guaranteed profit in the NBA, and I'm going to show you how to do that in this video.
Stop right there. Fail number one, the guaranteed lie. If you ever hear a content creator use the words guaranteed profit regarding a gambling strategy that involves taking a position on a live sporting event, close the tab. You are being lied to. Unless you are doing sophisticated arbitrage between two different bookmakers reacting too slowly, which this guy is absolutely not doing, there is no such thing as a guarantee. He is starting the video with a fraudulent premise. He is selling you certainty in a game of variance. But let's see how he thinks he's cracked the code.
So the first thing that we're going to talk about right now is going to be what games you're looking at. So what you want to do is you want to go through an NBA slate and find games on the spread that are -2 or less. So you're looking for games that are pretty much going to be projected to be close games. So -2 or less. That is the games you want to target. You're going to go through, write down, and make a list of that. Number 2, both teams that you're looking at here in that matchup, both teams need to be bottom 10 in defense efficiency. The reason why for this is because the concept that we're looking here is we don't want a mismatch here on defense. We don't want one team to be extremely better than the other, but the point spread didn't reflect that. We want two defenses that are lackluster that aren't that good. Okay, just so that way they're susceptible to scoring on both ends. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 3. So the first thing you're going to do when you're about to place the bet here, you are going to bet on the favorite on the money line. All right, so the money line in this game at -2 probably is going to be like somewhere between like probably -140. All right, the reason why you're going to just do this pregame and you're going to bet the favorite is so that way if somehow the favorite just comes out and just starts blowing them out, that you're covered here. You have your base here where you pick the favorite. If they come out and it's a mismatch, but it wasn't on paper, next thing you know, they just take off. All right, well, you're just rolling with that then, right? So what you would do is you're just going to bet on the favorite at -140-ish, because that's probably around what it would be at.
Fail number 2, the Bookie donation. Did you catch that? He says to pick a game where the spread is tight, -2 or less. But then he tells you to accept moneyline odds of -140. Let's bring up a conversion chart so you can see exactly how much money he is telling you to set on fire. Now, while these exact numbers can fluctuate slightly based on the specific model used and the expected total points scored in a game, the relationship is mathematically straightforward. Look at the lines for -1.5 and -2. The true odds, without the bookie's fee, should be around -110, -115. Even a greedy sportsbook would usually price this around -125, -130. But Frank, he's telling you to happily pay -140. To prove to you what a fair market actually looks like, let's look at a real-world example. Here we have the Clippers versus the Hornets on Polymarket. The spread is sitting at -1.5. Now look at the moneyline price for the Clippers. It is trading between 52 and 53 cents. For those unfamiliar with prediction markets, that's simply the market probability of about 52.5%. In betting terms, that is decimal odds of about 191, -110 in American odds. And just to double check, here is Betfair. There's a bit of a gap, but you can see that the prices are the same. Why? Because of arbitrage. These are efficient, sharp markets. So the sharpest markets are pricing a -1.5 to -2 spread favorite at around 191 to 187, -110 to -115. And Frank is telling you to bet that same team at -140 or 170 in decimal odds. Do you understand the magnitude of that failure? He isn't just advising you to take slightly worse odds. He's telling you to accept a price that is astronomically detached from reality. The difference between -110 and -140 isn't just weak. In the world of betting, where edges are fought over in fractions of a percentage point, the gap is the Grand Canyon. Frank is telling you to voluntarily hand the bookmaker a massive, unsurmountable advantage before the ball is even tipped. So we have to conclude one of two things. A, Frank has absolutely no idea how spreads translate to money lines and is just making up numbers. B, he is betting with a predatory sportsbook that charges such astronomically high vig that it is mathematically impossible to win long term. Or, most likely, it's both. He's telling you to accept terrible value on a blind bet before the game even starts. This isn't a system, it's a donation to the bookmaker.
So that's just an insurance bet pretty much pre-game. This isn't really what we're actually going to be doing throughout the whole entire game. Now, the only way you end up losing this is through the underdog, for some reason, comes out the gate and just absolutely blows out the other team, which happens in rare cases.
Fail number 3, the insurance deception. This is one of the most dangerous linguistic tricks fake gurus use. He calls this an insurance bet to make you feel safe, to make you feel like you are being responsible. Let's be crystal clear. This is not insurance. In trading, insurance, or hedging, is a mechanism to reduce risk on a position you already hold. But here, you don't have a position yet. You are sitting with cash. Cash has zero risk. By placing this bet, you're going from having zero risk to having money at risk. That is not insurance. You're not mitigating risk, you are voluntarily creating it. You're opening a naked gambling position. Calling that insurance is not just wrong, it's manipulative. But the most dangerous lie in this clip is his claim about how you lose. Did you catch it? He says, the only way you lose is if the underdog blows them out. Wrong. You are betting on the favorite. If the underdog simply takes an early lead and just holds that lead until the buzzer, you lose. If they win by 3 points wire to wire, you lose. You don't need a rare blowout to destroy the system. You just need the underdog to win. We will see exactly why a simple loss is fatal when we expose his live betting rules in the next minute. But for now, just understand this. He is completely misrepresenting your risk. But the stupidity goes deeper. Did you hear the justification? It happens in rare cases. Frank, wake up! You just explicitly told us to pick a game with a spread of -2 or less. Do you know what a -2 spread means? It implies the teams are virtually equal in strength. The underdog has a win probability of roughly 47 to 48%. I wouldn't even call it an underdog. That is a coin flip. In the NBA, having an evenly matched team come out and stomp the other team is not a rare event. It happens literally
every night.
Thanks, Karim. He's looking at a scenario involving 2 nearly identical teams and telling you that one of them dominating is a statistical anomaly. This isn't a system. It's a fundamental delusion about how sports work.
Now let's go ahead and get to number 4. After the first quarter. First quarter, we need the teams to be within 5 points or less of each other. Okay, so this ensures that one team is not just running away with it. They're not up by 10, 15 points after the first quarter. Make sure it's 5 or less. Okay, if that fits that criteria, then we're in business. Then we're going to be able to actually put our bets in live. That's going to make you a guaranteed profit. Now let's move on to step 5. At the end of that first quarter, what we're going to do is now we're going to bet the underdog. So the underdog after the first quarter, let's say it's a 3-point game, 4-point game. That line should look like this. It should be about like 150-ish. All right, it should be about plus 150. So what you're going to do is you're going to bet the underdog. Let's go ahead and roll through exactly how we're going to do this live, because this is going to be a live betting strategy now, because now we're not worried about anything but what's going on live in the game. So you're going to bet the underdog. And basketball, especially the NBA, is a game of runs. When a game is close, where the matchup is close, game of runs. So one team might go up by 5, 10 points, and the other team will come back, they'll go up by 5, 10 points. Then another team will go up by 5, then the other team will go up by 5. That's how the game flow happens throughout the game. When you have two teams that have a bottom tier defense that are not a stout defense that's going to shut the other one out, they're going to be susceptible to runs. All right, so that's what we're banking on here to get us a guaranteed profit. So we bet the underdog plus 150. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the underdog now on the other side for the favorite to take over. Okay, and what you do there is once the favorite goes on a run, now guess what happens? We're going to flip-flop here. The underdog goes on a run, then the underdog becomes the favorite, and then the favorite becomes the underdog. So what happens here is now when the other team goes on a run, you'll get a live line of, let's just make this even, 150 per se on the other side. So now you would go and you'd bet the opposite side here.
Fail number 4, the swing delusion. This is where his system moves from bad advice to pure fantasy. Let's play out the scenario he is demanding using basic logic. At the end of the first quarter, he tells you to bet the current underdog at plus 150. He doesn't say it explicitly, but he has to mean the original pre-game underdog. Think about it. You already have a bet on the favorite. If the favorite was trailing, betting them again would just be doubling down on a losing position. That makes zero sense. So the scenario is, the favorite is leading and he wants you to bet on the trailing underdog. But here's a catch. For his guaranteed profit to work, he needs the original favorite to eventually flip to plus 150 so he can hedge again. Think about what that actually requires. We already established that Frank is betting into lines with massive juice. If he is waiting for plus 150 or 250 in decimal odds at his predatory sportsbook, the fair price, the true odds, is likely closer to plus 180 or 280 in decimal odds. For the original favorite, the team that started the game as a better team and won the first quarter, to suddenly be priced as a massive underdog with true odds of plus 180, they can't just lose a lead by a point. They need to collapse. They need to blow that early lead and let the underdog go on a massive, unanswered run. He's banking on a massive dramatic swing in the scoreline. Does this happen? Sometimes. Does it happen often enough to overcome the massive fees you are paying on multiple separate bets? Absolutely not. Look at how many ways you lose. Scenario A, the underdog leads after the first quarter and never trails. You lose your insurance bet and never get the entry to the system. Scenario B, you bet the underdog after the first quarter, but they never turn it around. You lose your live bet. Scenario C, the underdog takes the lead, but it stays close. The favorite never drifts to plus 150 and wins at the end. He is selling you a strategy that requires extreme volatility and a specific script, but he is presenting it as a sure thing. That is not a system. That is just hoping for chaos while paying a premium for the privilege.
Now, there are some things that you have to make sure that you're doing when you do this. You have to use at least 2 to 3 sportsbooks. You have to. You cannot place bets on both sides of the same sportsbook. You will get banned. They will take your account off. They do not like you doing that. So you have to use 2 separate sportsbooks, maybe even 3, to be safe. All right?
Fail number 5, the I'm too good delusion. This is a lie he tells himself to sleep at night. Frank claims you need to spread your action across multiple books to hide your success. Let me explain how the industry actually works. Bookmakers do not ban you simply because you won a few bets in play. They limit accounts that consistently find value in their odds. No bookmaker on earth is going to ban a guy who bets on minus 140 favorites when the fair price is minus 115, and then making senseless bets in play, hoping for swings that might not happen. Bookmakers love this strategy. You are paying the vig multiple times. First on the pre-game bet, and then again on every single live bet you place. The more you bet back and forth without an edge, the more the mathematical disadvantage grinds your bankroll into dust and transfers it to them. They don't ban accounts like this. They mark them as VIPs. They send them free tickets to games. They assign them personal account managers to make sure they keep depositing. Claiming you need to hide this strategy because it's too powerful is a final desperate attempt to sell you on his genius. It's a marketing tactic to make you feel like you are getting away with something. The only thing you're getting away with is a lighter wallet. Now, I know some of you smart bettors might be thinking, but wait, what if we did this on an exchange? What if I use Betfair or Polymarket where there is no vig? Let me be brutally honest. You would have to be brain dead to believe that works. Even if you strip away the predatory fees, this idea is an insult to intelligence. Do you really think you can beat efficient, high-volume, algorithmic markets just by waiting for the score to change? When a team takes the lead, the market instantly adjusts. The probability is already baked into the price. There is no free money just because the scoreline swung. To believe that you, with no model, no data, and no edge, can outsmart millions of dollars of liquidity just by watching a basketball game is not just naive, it's a height of delusion. You aren't trading. You are just turning money back and forth until it's gone. To those of you watching who have already handed your money to this man, I'm talking directly to you. This channel isn't just a hobby for him. It is a sales funnel. He's actively selling picks and coaching. We need to be crystal clear about who you're dealing with. Frank is not a professional bettor. A professional wakes up trying to extract money from the markets. Frank wakes up trying to extract money from you. His coaching and VIP picks are worse than worthless. They are financial double tap. First you lose money on his subscription fees, then you lose the rest of your money betting on his mathematically broken strategies. You are literally paying him for the privilege of going broke. But when he sells this toxicity with promises of financial freedom or guaranteed results, he isn't just being a bad handicapper. He's crossing a legal line. In the United States, the Federal Trade Commission has strict regulations regarding earnings claims. You cannot sell a product by promising results that are mathematically impossible to achieve. It is time to make him answer for it. Since he operates under US jurisdiction, here's your battle plan. Step 1. Go to reportfraud.ftc.gov. Select job, investment, money-making opportunity, or franchise. Tell them you bought a coaching package or a pick subscription based on specific promises of profit that turned out to be false. The FTC uses these reports to build cases against predatory marketers who sell snake oil services. Step 2. Create a permanent record with the FBI by filing a complaint at ic3.gov. That is the Internet Crime Complaint Center. He might be able to delete negative comments on his channel, but he cannot delete a federal complaint. Step 3. This is the most important one. Hit him in the wallet. If you paid for his coaching or picks using a credit card, contact your bank immediately. File a formal dispute for misrepresentation of services or product not as described. Be specific. You purchase a service marketed as a professional winning strategy. You received a mathematically flawed losing system. If a car salesman sells you a Porsche and delivers a broken tricycle, you get your money back. This is no different. Do not let him keep your hard-earned money out of embarrassment. Make the report, initiate the chargeback, and help us stop this scam of the resources it needs to survive. If you found this investigation valuable, hit that like button to help it rank higher than its size. Subscribe for more takedowns because the list of fakes is long and we are just getting started. Until next time.
Guru Busters!